And of course, folks, it's happening live. Liberia's Flag Day, August 24, 2022, being hosted by Ministry of Education. And of course, as you can see, administrators, of various high schools have gathered. The program is ongoing right now. It starts with the parading from the Harper playing field. The Harper playing field, Maryland County. As you can see, folks from various administrations across the county. I'm talking about Fatima High School. As you can see, Mr. Boniface Dahlia is the principal of Fatima High School. And of course, as you can see, the DO, he's the DO of Harper District. They are in full swing right now, observing the Flag Day of the Republic of Liberia, August 24. It hasn't been 3 years back, a few years back. It hasn't been, but the country otherwise, the administration of the county and the country otherwise to reactivate the spirit, of respecting, of paying respect to our flag, Republic of Liberia. As you can see, he's Reverend. You also see Reverend Gregory Nimley is waving the flag. He's the principal for the John Hillary Topman Junior Senior High School in Harper City, Maryland County. He's Reverend Gregory Nimley. He's in action right now. As you can see, she's Mrs. Annie Sloyan. She's the principal for Kipamas High School. She's Mrs. Annie Sloyan. She's in motion right now, making use of the time to respect the flag of the Republic of Liberia. I'm Christian Appleton, bringing it to you live. This is Christian Appleton TV. You see Appleton TV coming to you live as it unfolds, bringing it to you. Folks, wherever you are watching, wherever you are, in Plibo City, Kalukin, Baropo, Little Lebo, We Are Village, Old Little Town, City King, Chiabo, Pedable, Rock Town, Middle Town, Fish Town, Big Town, are you somewhere there in Barrican, following River G, wherever you are watching, I like to say keep following. Somewhere there in America, in India, China, Ghana, Nigeria, Russia, Ukraine. Folks, welcome to it, a warm welcome. As you can see, students from cross-section of schools in Harper City, Maryland County, observing August 24th as Liberia's Flag Day. Students from Kipamas High School, Our Lady of Fatima High School, John Hillary Topman High School, Jitiboro High School, East Harper Junior Senior High School. As you can see, it's happening live in Harper City. Liberia's Flag Day. Observance of the Liberia's Flag Day, August 24th, is ongoing. Currently, we are at the Harper City Hall. As you can see, that building there is the Harper City Hall. You can see cross-section of students have gathered to observe this day. So, folks, it's happening live in Harper City, Maryland County. As you can see, he's the DO, County Education Officer, Reverend Professor Tensi As you can see, County Education Officer of Maryland County. Holding the flag of Maryland County. Of course, as you can see, the man in the yellow is the youth president representing the township commissioner. As you can see, the woman in the green is the principal for Kipamas High School. She's Mrs. Annie Sloyan. Of course, folks, it's happening live. It's happening live. So, folks, we are at the Harper Central Market right now. As you can see, we are at the Harper Central Market. Liberia's Flag Day, August 24th. It's happening live. As you can see, students cross section of high school in Harper City. Happy Flag Day to all Liberians across Liberia. All Liberians abroad. Happy Flag Day. Keep following Houston African TV. As you can see, he's the county education officer, Reverend Professor Tennessee P. Doyen. As you can see, he's in gear. Mr. Moluba Stevens is the planning chair for today's occasion. Mr. Moluba Stevens, the planning officer of Ministry of Education, Maryland County Detachment. Christopher Kanakai Appleton is a media practitioner. He works for CUFM, the Southeastern Liberian Radio. He's holding a Liberia flag. Folks, the parade is still ongoing in observance of August 24th, Liberia's Flag Day. Of course, it's happening live. We are currently in front of the Catholic Church. As you can see, there's that building there. This whole compound is a Catholic, compound. Folks, it's still happening. Right now, where we are at the local education office, Ministry of Education, Maryland County branch. And of course, an eye right is about to be taken by students. As you see the white line indicating, the eye right will be taken. Happening live, Flag Day of the Republic of Liberia, August 24th. Students are in full swing, observing this day. As you can see, this is the Harper City Hall, Harper City, Maryland County. You know, where we are about to enter for the indoor program to be held. The indoor program marking the Flag Day celebration, August 24th, Liberia's Flag Day, which has exhausted the parade, parading aspect of this important day. Now we are about to enter the Harper City Hall, where the indoor program will be held. Let's just give you a clear picture of how the Harper City Hall looks like. Let's just give you a clear picture of how the Harper City Hall looks like. As you can see, the first flag is the Liberia flag, and you can see the second is Maryland flag. Right before the Harper City Hall. This country is all we have. This is where we will never be deported. So folks, keep following Christian Appleton TV. Keep following C Appleton TV as I bring it to you, as we bring it to you live, as it unfolds. It's quite interesting today to see Flag Day being observed since a few years back. We haven't observed this day. So we started with parading the central street of Harper City. We started from the playing field, the Harper playing field, moved straight in town, even reached at the Harper General Market, and of course now we are at the Harper City Hall.
our desires, Lord, and for whom no secrets are hid. Cleanse the thoughts of our hearts by the inspiration of the Spirit, that we may perfectly love thee and wanted thee magnify thy holy name through Christ Jesus. Amen.
As you can see, he's the master of ceremony for today's occasion, today's program. Just exhausted the aspect of opening prayer, and because this Wednesday, Flag Day of the Republic of Liberia, and it's been celebrated.
Introduction of the program was John Hillary Tubman High School.
Introduction of the program will be done by John Hillary Tubman High School, according to the Master of Ceremony.
Our program is celebrated to get our things.
Just exhausted the introduction
Class one guests,
of the program.
special invitees, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today marks the 175th celebration of the National Flag Day, August 24th in Liberia, celebrated and hosted by the Ministry of Education in Liberia County. The program comprises of the following: brief history of the Liberian flag, introduction of keynote speaker, keynote address, remarks, to be followed by a football match competition to be held at the Harper School Stadium on today. In order to enjoy this very important program, one divided attention is highly needed. Thank you. Welcome remarks will be done by the County Education Officer of Liberia County, Reverend Professor C.O.P. Bordoyan Senior.
Coming on the podium, Reverend Professor C.O.P. Bordoyan is fully attached
So, folks, the introduction of the program.
Good afternoon,
Welcome remarks.
Honorable George Bodubra, Superintendent of Maryland County, our platform guests, the county school board of Badu, DEOs of the 8th Educational District of Maryland County, principals of Maryland County school system, student body, the folk estate, ladies and gentlemen. For and on behalf of the Minister of Education, Professor Oda Ansu Sodi, we want to take the opportunity to welcome all of you to this all-important occasion. As you may be aware, because of some classes, to just name few, the Ebola classes, the COVID-19 classes, we have not celebrated our flag day for a number of years. And knowing the importance of our flag, the Ministry of Education thought it wise to have it celebrated in a short notice this year. And based on that, we have gathered here. We want to officially welcome all of you to this occasion, and we pray that God will help us to go through this process in a peaceful manner. In Jesus' name.
Folks, you just listen to Reverend Professor Tennessee
Thank you very much. The
making up
Professor
welcome remark of today's occasion on behalf of the County Educational Sector
We invite
of
the
Maryland
District
County.
Education Officer for Harper Education District for 2, the recognition of guest, special guest, Honorable James G. Wilson.
So folks, another item has to do with the recognition of special guests that will be done by Honorable James G. Wilson, D.O. Harper, District Number 2.
I want to recognize the presence of the county speaker in the spirit and the special representation here at this national program. The Honorable Professor Reverend Tenisio P. Blodoyen, County Education Officer of the Maryland County. Our County School Board Chair, Mr. Badu, ADS Badu, and other county school board officials, students, our sympathizers and praisers of this important occasion. It is our pleasure this time to recognize and introduce to you our special invitees. Our second invitee to this all-important program, firstly we want to recognize Honorable Weneke Koli. May you stand and let the people know you. He is the District Education Officer of Southern School Education District. Honorable George Queen, District Education Officer of Honorable Andrew P. District Education Officer of Kano District 1. Honorable Mose K. Boa, District Education Officer of Kano. Honorable David Dudoe, District Education Officer of Kano. Let me just come back to tell you why we have to tell you that the people they are special invitees. Government is about to put education system on the actual value. That as of this year and onward, this is just a symbolic program. But we will celebrate Flag Day as people used to, as we used to celebrate Flag Day before. And so government was set forward and said, let the program be held in every county capital or every county administrative headquarters. And so I hope you will not feel why education is having a program and introducing something education officer. But this is the reason for which we decided to make you to know them. And so in a second note, we want to recognize the youth chairperson from Jacksonville Youth Care President. We also want to recognize our special partner in education, Mr. Johnson of Street Child. We want to use this chance to also recognize the county school board chair, Mr. David S. Badu. I want to also recognize our special dignitary. Let me start from the city mayor, Madam Blessing Howard, Hallelujah. 12. Okay. Reverend Pepe is also our special guest for this occasion. And Mr. Alice is also our special guest for this occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to leave out the
Special guest for today's occasion. As you can see, we're all seated.
somebody who our country people say who can praise the head. So when we introduce you in this forum, Mr. Emmanuel, to the president of the Liberia Mountain, and our media friends, our guest speaker, I think he's on the way coming. He's a special person, and when he arrives, we know. Then we also want to recognize the 10 unit of Big Town, all of our principals, our various educations, our various schools, as well as our students. Thank you very much for coming in Jesus' name.
Thank you very much.
So folks, that does it for the recognition of special guests done by Honorable James G. Wilson, D.O. Harper District number 2. Move to the next item.
We will now invite to the
It
podium
has to do with the brief history
for
of
the brief
the flag
history
of Liberia.
of Liberia.
And a student would do that.
Student
A student will be doing that.
and Marco Sale of Performance High School.
Student Michael C. going to do a brief history of the flag of Liberia.
All protocols have been assisted. The flag of the Republic of Liberia was designed and ensured by the committee of 7 women. The chair of the committee was Susanna Innocent Lewis. Other women of the committee are as follows: Lieutenant April, Richard Johnson, Harriet Hunter, Ms. David Russell, Colonel Todd Elliott, and Sarah Draper. The flag of the Republic of Liberia consists of 6 red stripes and 5 alternate white stripes, totaling 11 stripes, with each representing one of the 11 men who signed our country's Declaration of Independence. The color of the red symbolizes the blood of those who died in the struggle for independence. The color white indicates the purity of mind and cleanness of all the country's forebears. Towards each other, white and blue colors represent Africa, which was called a dark continent at that time, because many good things about her were not known to the world. Furthermore, the long white star on the blue field represents a freedom that formed the basis of Liberia and should shine forth across the rest of Africa, as Liberia was the only independent state on the continent of Africa at the time. Moreover, the holiday was first observed in an 1847 convention, where the founding fathers approved the flag design as well as the new republic. Lastly, on October 23, 1915, President Daniel E. Howard signed into law an act of legislature declaring August 24 a national holiday to be observed as National Flag Day with appropriate ceremonies benefiting the day. Therefore, each year, the President of the Republic of Liberia reiterates which and thereby issue a proclamation declaring the holiday. Thank you for your listening audience.
That does it for the brief history
Thank you very
of
much.
the flag of Liberia.
Student
Done by a student from Kipamas High School. It's happening
Last
live
selection by the game
on Court, the Harper City Court.
do for us
Of course,
5 minutes
another acting,
for our
another item that has to do with selection. You know, be done by the Ben Koo. Ben Koo. Keep following Christian Appleton TV, see Appleton TV. Bring it to you first. So, folks, that does
Thank
it.
you very much for that
That
melodious
does it for selection.
sound
Ben
from them. Without much ado, I will invite to the podium student Sarah Griffiths of Our Lady of Fatima Catholic School for the introduction, the keynote speaker.
Introduction of the keynote speaker will be done by student Sarah Griffith from the Our Lady of Fatima High School. And of course, he's moving up to the podium. He has taken over the microphone. We'll be introducing the guest speaker for today's occasion.
All protocols there. Our guest speaker for today's occasion was born on March 10, 1975 in Simcoe, Monrovia, Liberia. He completed his secondary education at the St. Michael Catholic High School in New Georgia, Cardinalsville in 1996. In 1998, he matriculated to the African Methodist Episcopal University, AMEU, where he studied sociology with minor emphasis in English literature until 2005. He walked out of the AMEU with an honorary Bachelor of Arts BA degree in sociology in 2005. In 2015, he was awarded a partial grant for graduate studies from the European Union to study sociology of law or social legal studies at the International Institute for the Sociology of Law in Bilbao, Spain. He completed his studies in 2016 and proudly returned home with a Master of Arts MA degree cum laude. Our keynote speaker has almost 12 years of experience as a social advocate,
4 years of working experience as a professional banker and has served as a consultant for the Ministry of Planning and Development and used it as a consultant for the Ministry of Planning and Development. He joined the Liberia Stockman University in September 2012 and served in various capacities. Our guest speaker has served as administrative assistant to the Director for Student Development, a position he currently occupies. Administrative officer to the Vice President for Administration and Compliance Officer before leaving for graduate studies in 2015. Since then, our guest speaker has been in the field of teaching, writing, advocacy, and providing academic support services to students at the university and is very active in community services in the cities of Harper and Liberia. He is currently the Director for Student Development and Learning Support Services at the Liberia Stockman University in Harper State, Maryland County. Our keynote speaker also provides adjunct services to the university, offering sociology and English courses to undergraduate students. Our guest speaker is known for being associated with students who have made academic strides at the university, either as valedictorian or honor roll students in the last 3 graduations at the university. He is a Protestant and is legally married to beautiful Mistress Valerie Martha Smith Morris and is blessed with a pair of kids, Victoria and Theophilus Morris. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker for today's occasion to the podium, Mr. Victor T. Morris. Thank you.
Folks, that does it for the introduction of the guest speaker. That does it, because
Okay.
as you can see, he's the guest speaker for today's edition. Mr. Victor T. Morris.
Romeo, blessing our 12. I want to see you. Counties, district officials, and Ministry of Education. Of us, our principal, and self, platform guests, members of the 4th Estate, Big Town Band, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It was both a challenge and a privilege to speak on this 175th flag day. Having considered Harper City being the cream de la cream of academics at this Harvard University, to select Moko Contribor to serve as a keynote speaker is an honor. We received this invitation from Mr. Bolu and Mr. Kolike at a time we thought it was not only a challenge but to test our resolve. And I must say, we hope we can deliver this afternoon. On August 24th every year, we celebrate our nation's flag, one of those national symbols that embody not only our history, our culture, beliefs, and hope. It also symbolizes our natural and mineral wealth on the continent of Africa. At some point, the Liberian flag speaks as a symbol of our freedom as a sovereign state and of what others have sacrificed to ensure that it has a very evocative and historical meaning. Even the Holy Bible recognizes the management of a flag. In biblical history, flags
served as banner. In signs, it represented some form of standard. Flags were used in biblical times as a symbol indicating presence, ownership, association, and relationship. My apologies to a Muslim in the hall. I cannot relate to the Quran with respect to flag because I don't read it and I'm not knowledgeable in it. Every time a flag is flown, we just don't see some well-decorated piece of cloth being swung by the wind and held by strings on a pole or a stick. A flown flag, especially a country's national flag. A national flag marks a country and its citizens' fortitude to have confidence in the land and makes the citizenry comfortable with the nation's place in the world. Because of these attributes of what the national flag stands for, countries across the globe, having realized that a far greater relevance of this essence as a symbol, they have and continue to revisit the decoration, revision, and readoption of their national flags. Outside of Africa, 4 countries have in less than 2 decades readopted their flags. Myanmar adopted her current flag on October 21st, 2010. The Islamic Republic of Iraq adopted her most recent flag on January 22nd, 2008. Montenegro adopted her current flag on July 13, 2004, while Canada adopted her current flag on February 15, 1965, replacing the black jacket. On the African continent, the message of what a flag truly represents has also been realized. Malawi adopted her new flag on May 28, 2012. Libya has adopted hers 3 times in 1951, 1969, and the most recent on February 17, 2011. South Africa adopted her current flag on April 27, 1994, and Lesotho adopted her current flag in 2006. Having laid this point of departure, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, platform guests, and considering the marking of the celebration of one of the most cherished national symbols in Liberian history, permit me to speak to us on the topic: is the Liberian flag a national symbol that unites us or divides us? Let me state it again. Is the Liberian flag a national symbol that should unite us or divide us? I will beg your indulgence to permit me to create a platform for discussion that goes beyond this address. One that will create a future discussion and cause a sober reflection in some quarters, especially to the custodians of the interpretation of our organic law, or better still, the Constitution. Many countries have had just a single flag in their histories. Others, like Liberia, have had several flags replaced and adopted by their governments. Among the many justifications and reforms of such changes, a common reason for our country's decision to change its flag is to symbolize the change in leadership or the change in the political ideology. For the purpose of this occasion, I would want you, students, members of the band, platform guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to consider the issue of the Liberian flag. The generation of our time and the platform guests to see this issue as one that we can continue to discuss after today's occasion. The first Liberian flag was adopted in 1827. Historical research on flag makers and official UK-based flag provider to the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games in the United Kingdom reveals that the adopted 1827 Liberian flag flew alongside the American flag, which at the time carried 26 stars on the soil of Liberia, as Liberia was then considered a colony of the United States, between 1827 and 1944. The current Liberian flag was adopted in 1847 as the official national flag. Since then, our history records that Liberians at home and abroad celebrate the flag on August 24th every year, primarily to remember its adoption and to serve as a national symbol for the nation state. Many politicals and social research pundits like us are really keen on going beyond what the Liberian flag as a national symbol speaks to, beyond what we hear in our history books about the meanings and its interpretation that brings to Liberia the show love for country. To a typical Liberian, the national flag's ensigns and their interpretation go no further than what we read in our elementary social studies books about Susanna Louis, the dark continent of Africa, and the only independent state on the African continent at the time that served as a beacon of hope for Africa's renaissance. The meaning of the 11 stripes and the red color of the Liberian flag captures the core of this address and will guide the discussion of our topic that we intend to dwell on subsequently in our speech. To an American citizen, the American flag remains a living piece of history and a source of pride and unity for all Americans. The stars and the stripes embody the very qualities that make the United States great: liberty, justice, freedom, love for country, and national purpose. The national flag for an American was created to serve as a national symbol that specifically acknowledges the sacrifice of men and women in the United States Armed Forces who have given their lives for their country in over 2 centuries of America's history. For a typical Ghanaian, the national flag represents the motherland, the pride and wealth of the nation. It serves as a reminder that they remain bonded by their history. The red in the Ghanaian flag represents the blood of those who died in the country's struggle for independence from Great Britain. The gold represents the mineral wealth of the country Ghana. The green symbolizes the country's rich forests and natural wealth, and the black star is the symbol of African emancipation. These outstanding and highly memorable moments remain alive wherever a Ghanaian citizen sees their flags float. A South African will ride or die for the national flag because, in their opinion, the flag tells Africa's story. The flag of South Africa, created in 1922, represents the Pan-African flag. It is an emblem of pride featuring the colors red, green, and black. The red symbolizes the blood that unites all people of black African ancestry and the bloodshed for liberation on the continent of Africa. Black symbolizes the black people of Mama Africa. And green symbolizes the abundant natural wealth of the African continent. Coming back home to Liberia, like several other national symbols, continue to find an unsuitable place among Liberians as a reminder of unity and reconciliation. When the signs found on the flag are interpreted, oftentimes it becomes more of a taboo to speak of the uncompromising truth about the true issues and meanings of the various parts of the flag. The meaning of the red color and the 11 stripes on the flag becomes controversial and at some point even debatable, that they have the propensity to spark heated and at some point uncomfortable discussion among intellectuals because of the painful historical past. We don't need to open a government class here because the government has already read our history books and we already know what the Liberian flag, the various signs, the colors represent. But let me say here today that Liberia is experiencing a transition and sustained democracy that other readers of history and politics still consider fragile. As such, the current leadership is challenged with lots of reform issues that are critical to the sustainability of our democracy. The issue of transformation from the period of the bypass to the present and the subsequent democratic future is predicated upon how the people of Liberia will handle the past and the present to secure the political future of Liberia. Like all other democracies that are struggling to remain stable across the continent, Liberia is faced with numerous politically sensitive issues that are key to the sustainability of long-lasting peace and democracy. The issue of our national symbols relative to unification, political inclusion, and national identity is critical to the sustainability of relatively peaceful political environment that has existed from 2007 to now. Our current generation, you and myself, are at a crossroads. Why? The critical political and historical juncture we find ourselves. We must protect the peace that we currently enjoy very jealously
and I would want to emphasize that we need to protect the peace that we enjoy with our very lives. As we celebrate Flag Day today, it is important to highlight how we see our national flag, either as a divisive national symbol or a symbol or a unifying factor of our national existence as a people that depends on how much information we firstly have about the flag and how much of that information can be developed and passed on to the next generation. Many students, even at the university level, know very little about our Liberian flag as a national symbol. Least to mention the meanings and interpretations. I am wondering how a Liberian from Putuki and Rubaji can explain to a non-Liberian that will ask the question, how come you are one nation called Liberia, but the red stripes on the flag signify the representation of the blood that was shared by the settlers and not the indigenous to establish the nation state called Liberia? I am wondering how a university student can explain to a very smart elementary student who will ask the question, big brother, big sister, how come there were 15? Why is the blue field still represent the dark continent of Africa when Africa as a continent is now a stakeholder in determining the mitigation of climate change in the world? Just recently, our president, His Excellency Dr. George Manawia, was promised handsomely by the global north to protect our forests as a major alternative to reducing the current carbon emission in Europe, Asia, and America. I wonder, we could go on asking more questions and we get answers that would be more meaningful for us to appreciate our national flag as a national symbol and one that unifies the state and its people. The Liberian flag, like many other national symbols, in my opinion, needs to be reviewed and, if possible, redesigned for the purpose of reawakening the spirit of patriotism, self-confidence, the promotion of loyalty to Liberia by Liberians, national unity, national identity, and rekindling the sense of belonging to the place we call home. The Liberians should identify with the flag at any place, anytime, with no reservation whatsoever. Liberia must remain a place we can appreciate above everywhere else. To appreciate our history as a people, to protect Liberia's future by becoming true patriots, we must have national symbols that tell our story as a nation and remind us of our sad past and keep us alert and awake to make Liberia second to none on the continent of Africa. Flying the Liberian flag should go beyond just seeing the red, white, and blue color, celebrating August 24th annually in Merrimack. Flying the Liberian flag should remind us that we are one nation divided by our individual, traditional, and cultural orientation and beliefs, but united as a people that are resolved. The Liberian flag must tell the story of a people that have experienced ethnic and class divide, a people that disagree ideologically but agree to foster the national and economic growth and development of a nation state called Liberia. It must tell the story of a people that have benefited from the generosity of love of others globally and are also willing to do the same, void of ethnic and racial sentiments. Permit me to conclude on this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen and powerful guests. If true democracy must be manifested in Liberia, especially in Liberia that has experienced the harsh and painful past of a brutal decade of civil unrest, they need to take into consideration national symbols like the flag, responding to the question of inclusion, participation, and the recognition of common values cannot be overemphasized. It is important to note here that the revisitation of the Liberian national flag and other national symbols to national legislature to effect positive changes mentioned is prudent. Legislative input can have immense impact on such statutory provisions that are in turn utilized as laws of the nation. These legal instruments must take into account present-day realities and those tenets of democracy that will promote peaceful coexistence and recognize existing and shared common values so that the true meaning of unity, cohesion, and participatory democracy is manifested. We believe this is possible. We believe that we can make the needful change if we choose to, because in union strong, success is sure. Let us continue to foster the aspiration that is enshrined in our pledge to become a true reality. the reality that Liberia was built with a political philosophy and ideology, that we are one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Happy Flag Day.
That does it for the guest speaker's speech. A powerful speech made by the guest speaker, Mr. Victor T. Morris. And of course, folks, the MC has now asked the audience to rise up
And recite
as
the
we
pledge
recite
of the flag of
the pledge
Liberia.
of the flag of Liberia.
Together we say, it's not the part.
Of course,
Together we say, I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of Liberia.
and to the republic for which it stands, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, folks, we'll get to you live as it unfolds.
Thank you,
Currently,
Mr. Morris.
all those for and on behalf of the speaker, of the Jordan crowd, and in my own name, Reverend Martin Taylor Jr., I want to use this time to say a big thank you to everyone today who have come to celebrate this unique day. He should be here or with him when he received the call. He told me to come and represent him. Actually, this program, it reminded me when we were in school. But after certain time, it's taught because of changes of command. And this program used to help us. It used to motivate children who are not even going to school. When they see their friends are going to school, they want to go to school because they want to take part in parading. So this afternoon, I'm grateful to God to be back and pass on it. I want to use this time to appreciate the CEO, all the county leadership, education board, our city mayor, and all students, principals are paraded around the President Street of Harper City today for the celebration of this unique day. Again, I want to say God bless you. The civil and say thank you to everyone. God bless everyone. Keep it up. This is one of the things that we do to make our country go forward. And don't forget that while we started this year, we continue. And I pray that we continue. Thank you. God bless you.
so folks, that does it for remarking
Thank you.
government officials. Reverend Y.S. Dippy representing the
By
government officials,
representative of the county attorney,
making a special remark on behalf of the government of Liberia, Maryland County branch. So it's happening live. It's happening.
All protocols observed. My name is Arvin Ezion, clerk to the office of the county attorney. He has been delegated to serve in his behalf. Due to his action, he is out of the bailiwick of this county. Therefore, he has asked me to come and serve in his behalf. I want to use this time to say today that today marked 175 years of Flag Day in our history. And this flag was designed by 7 women. And those 7 women were headed by Susanna Lewis. And there's not just a flag, but it symbolizes that we the Republic of Liberia, and we are one of the oldest independent countries in Africa. Once again, I want to use this time to congratulate our guest speaker who has done a great job by telling us the essence of Flag Day. Once again, thank you to everybody. Thank you to the CEO who has organized this program to be a successful program. Once again, I thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Folks,
Thank you, Mr.
still
CEO.
happening here at the Harper City.
We recognize the
Flag Day.
office of the city clearance, Honorable Ellie Blessing Howard, for remarks.
The office of the city mayor has been recognized, and of course, as you can see, she's moving up. She's moving, she's walking up towards the podium, and of course, making a special remark.
Hello to everyone. Let me log in the county superintendent office and recognize it. And our CEO, the county attorney office as well. All of our DE school principals from the youth background, our teachers, to the students, our people that make us to dance today with the band. I am grateful for this movement to be part of whether it was session or something I didn't know. Celebrating Flag Day since it has been stopped over the years. So the Ministry of Education, I want to say a very big thank you to you for this day. As our guest speaker said, telling us the importance of our flag, what it stands for, what it's for. As he was here telling us, and I sat in my seat, then I started thinking and said, in my mind, which I'm going to say, if all of the importance attached to the flag, of which our flag was made, then of course, every year, August 24th, no matter what, this celebration needs to happen. So that we get to know what our flag stands for. So that we get to know the importance of the red, the white, and the blue. Even though our teachers doing work and giving it to us in school, but celebrating this day will actually make history that was sitting down to come back to our ears. And then we all try, as Liberians and Marylanders, people in Harper City, to implement those laws for which our flag was made. On behalf of the Senate Council and Mayor, we want to say a very big thank you to all of our participants, to our students, we say thanks, and to our organizers, or to all of us. I hope next time we all try to work it out together and see how best next time it becomes more grand. Again, I want to say thank you, and we wish to see our next celebration to be more colorful than this. Thank you.
So folks, that was it for a special remark
Thank you very much.
from the Harper City
Honorable
Mayor,
Mayor,
Ellen Blessing Howard Toy.
we recognize the office
Because
of
it's still happening here.
Street Child Bureau Office, Mr. Joseph.
The office of Street Child has been recognized in representing Street Child. He's moving on the podium
It's gradually moving up the podium. Here he comes. Stay tuned as we bring it to you.
All protocol. Once again, today here at the Medical University, head office we shall have. I'm so happy to be part of this great occasion. It reminds me about back in the days when we were young boys in school. So they had a few things that we make sure we keep part of the process so that history can be told. I want to say thank you to CEO, all of the people for this great occasion. Our special, we are here to help government, what is government effort, to make education a great priority for our people. So, like our guest speaker said, it's wondering how children that are in this refugee can interpret our flag. Our flag is a great thing that we all should remember. If I can remember, American soldiers died for their flag. But sometimes I wonder, people take our flag and do other things with it. It's so disheartening. Let us take our flag very important because it symbolizes a great nation. Once again, I want to thank you so much for your Thank you.
Folks, that does it for remarks from Mr. Johnson, head of office to Child Liberia. It's happening.
Governors, the office of the county school board chairman, Mr. Bali.
Of course, the office of the county school board chair has been recognized. It's moving up, Mr. Bali, Reverend Bali.
CEO, Maryland County, Reverend Professor Eliseo Doyle, our City Mayor, Harper City, Maryland County, representative from the Superintendent's office, representative from the county attorney's office, our DOs from various districts, our Jacksonville Township Youth President, our dynamic and strong principals from our middle high school, junior high school, our students who did not step back but have come to celebrate this day, our partners, educational stakeholders, our main team, the full estate. We are indeed happy this afternoon to be here to celebrate the important day in our country history, Flag Day. We also want to recognize our key group speaker, who did not hide things from us. Those who are not aware about the importance of the national flag. We say thank you very much. One thing I want to bring to your mind, maybe you don't know the importance of that flag or this day that we are celebrating, or that symbol that somebody is holding in his hand or hand. If you left from here today and went to the Ivory Coast, if you see many flags being flown, flying here and there, but when you see that beam of cloud, when you see that symbol telling you that Liberia is being represented. And so today, we say thank you for coming to making this day a success. As the state mayor has said, we, the people in the region of the educational system of this county, we made sure, working along with the CEO, that next year, August 24, I think the city mayor will go for us seat. This place will be jam-packed. It will be jam-packed. It is important because our children are coming after us. If we don't make them to know the importance of the flag, history will judge us. So we say thank you for coming. We hold hands. Together we can make it. The educational system in this country can be strong. God bless you. Let's continue to work together in Jesus' name.
That does it for special flag
President Jacksonville
from the school
Township.
and of course
Anthony Harris.
Mr. Anthony Harris, the youth president for Jacksonville Township, has been recognized and he's moving up. He's moving on the podium.
All good was. I'm firstly appreciate our leaders who have organized this program. And it reflects my mind on the message of our guest as it relates to our symbol that represents us as Nigerians. It sometimes tells me when Charles Taylor was president of Nigeria, there will be nowhere you see Nigerian hosting flag and people passing the ground. Because we are paying the courtesy to the flag and respecting to the best of our ability as Nigerians. But now within this, that we see that you see American willing to kill themselves for only a flag. African, you see them willing to kill themselves for only a flag. West for us as Nigerians. I want to advise that garment that we have on ourselves from the past, we should put on that garment back. The respect we give your flag is the same respect the outsider when they come will pay to it. You see today that we're hosting our flag, people passing around talking, what did they bring out there? The Liberia government, you see how best people that they on in accordance to the symbol of Liberia. To the young people, we are to follow footprint of our elderly people so that tomorrow we can better get together and move a great family. Thank you.
That does it for a special remark from the youth president of Jacksonville Township, Mr. Anthony Harris, spoken.
All right. Okay, sorry.
So folks, today is Flag Day, August 24th, making Liberia 175th. You know, this day marks the 175th Flag Day of Liberia.
And so we're going to stand on 6 people. As I sat in my seat listening to the guest speaker, there were a lot of things that came to my mind. For us today, we seem not to be nationalistic because we don't know that the flag is our identity. We don't know that the flag is our pride. Yeah. And so I remember when I was a child, whenever you saw you walking, whether you have it on your head or whatever you are, saw you walking, you'll be arrested and your parents will pay maybe 4 cops and 1 chicken. You are doing it, I don't want to do anything. Arrest you, you carry you in one corner and say you are in jail, and then your parents will go for the 4 cops, here to arrest you, no person wants to say. Today, you will notice that when people are watching flag, you find other people
when all the time, when they go with speed, and then you find other marketeers, even students and educated people will always be working while the flag being hosted. It's because we don't realize the fact that the flag is our identity and the flag is our pride. I want to say thank you. I don't know, guest speaker. You made us myself be confused. Because we say the red set of that was wasted. And who always said no? Where did we get the blame from? So we are being confused. I mean, on the system all progressing. I listened to some students this morning on the RPC. They read, said for the power of wasted. Who was that no? And where was it wasted? So these are questions. And when Brian, oh, okay. But I don't have evidence of that. They said my people drop something from where to the channel, and we can't tell how the person came. Well, you know around time. So I mean, maybe you can imagine. So there's a need for to rewrite. That's suggested. I recommend there's a need for to rewrite the history of our flag. Yes. Rewrite the history of our flag. Because when you are showing flag, not where you get broken so flag. If you forget what time, you send it later go for the time. If you forget the needle, you send it later go for the needle. But the flag in question of being so bad. So people consider the pioneer. We need to look at that. However, how did they? Let us continue with what we have. While we are doing that to prepare a new one, I want to use this time calling on behalf of the Liberia School System to say thank you to all of you who have shown up, even the platform can them from far places. But before I close, let me say this to you. For those of you who have told Mr. Harper to take the name of those students who have come from the government school. And I'm going to discuss with the principals that your first semester situation will be with. I am speaking in my capacity as a minister of the Liberia. At the same time, we will have some conversation with our partners, with our stakeholders, people who are helping us to hold in mind. We are talking about the private school, who representatives are also here so that we receive reason to do the same. Thank you, God bless all you for coming.
Folks, still happening here. Just listen to the CEO of Maryland County, the county education officer. Has just spoken, talking about tuition waiver of private students who have come to grace occasion, for the first semester.
All is good. All of the time. Somebody will say this day is not a first Sunday, but that's why we started with God's Son. So I stay on the existing protocol to see all the proposals here. Without delay, again, just my personal information, without appreciating all of our guests who came to grace this occasion. Unfortunately, Mr. Magno, who is the coordinator for Civil Society Chairperson in the resort, the communication was written by the language, and then because we gave open invitation, and he was able to join us later. We highly recognize him, as well as the county attorney. He is not here, but somebody represented him here today. And all of you that came to our day, Marshall, we appreciate you for tuning in today. And all of our students, teachers, principals, we appreciate you for today's program. If you did not enjoy this program today, Next August 24, we say come again. This will be more. Thank you. For the announcement, from here we'll be proceeding to the stadium. JS Park for the John Hillary, our Lady of Fatima for the Kipamos High. So the coaches and the directors are already aware how the game are arranged. Thank you for coming. MC.
Folks,
Okay, so yeah, as you see in the bulletin at the 13, they just here. We gave the schools administrators small little thing to cook for the participating schools. Kipamos High, Joint Larry, Fatima, and JS White. So we don't have the time to prepare food extra, but we have sandwich available. As you can see, after this, we'll have our refreshment. Thank you for coming.
so folks, that does it.
Thank you very much.
An announcement made by Mr. Moluba Stevens. He's the chief planner for today's occasion. He works with the Ministry of Education.
We remain standing as we invite Reverend Evelyn for you to give us a benediction.
Just before the revelation for the benediction, after the benediction, we will short this seat for us to light fresh, please.
The Lord be with you. Let us pray. By the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the sweet fellowship of the blessed Holy Spirit, believe that God will be both now and forevermore. Let the people of God say, Amen. Thank you.
That does it for benediction. And of course, we have already exhausted every activity of the intro program. Right after here, we're going to march at Mata Tapman Sports Stadium, where the inter-high school tournament will be played. I'm Christian Appleton. I've been here bringing it to you live as in a force. I'd like to say keep following Christian Appleton TV. Keep following C Appleton TV.
Inspiration song that is
Folks, as you can see, a team of journalists have come to cover this occasion. You can see Ambassador Keko Shinklo. He works for Phoenix FM 102.7, Topman University's radio in Harper City, Maryland County. Next to him is Joseph Donsidi Allison. He who also works for Phoenix FM. Next to him is Elijah Chiedoyan. He works for Seal FM, Southeastern Liberian Radio in Harper City, Maryland.